Do, 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 do. Am I live? Am I live? I think I'm live. Alright, I think I'm live. What is up, guys? Andrew here, and welcome to Comicbooker. All things comics from a creator. So today I have if you can see this little phone in front of me, I am testing out a new setup. I know I usually do iPad live streams, but I've been really dying to do some traditional materials live streams. So fingers crossed this works and that the phone doesn't die like halfway through the stream. But yeah, let's do a sketchbook session, like a traditional sketchbook session. And I can show you what I've been working on since the start of the actual 2024 New Year. But yeah, today's Lunar New Year. If you're watching this a little late, yeah, and if you are live, welcome, kung hei fa choi or kung si fa ta, depending on which version of Chinese you subscribe to. Okay, so let's switch over to the new look, and boom, this is my sketchbook. And I'm gonna skip the front part because I don't wanna like dox myself, but I started this on the 1st of January 2024, and I've been slowly and surely drawing in it. Here's like I guess that's Polaris, I'm not sure, just a magnetic lady sketch. This is Bunker, some ideas. Nothing I can talk about. Here is Professor X, a bunch of stuff. I was reading Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham's Doom Patrol, so I had to draw a bit of Cliff Steele. Here's Poison Ivy. This is stuff for Secret Heart Attack issue 2. Basically working out like a paneling sequence. And again, this is sort of like a very ugly, rough sketch for a splash page. Wait, let me start some music just so we have a little background stuff. So hopefully that sounds good to you guys. And this is from a free sketch event we had at the Art Students League a couple of weeks ago. This was with Marvel Daredevil artist Scarlet and so on, Alex Maliv, who is based in New York. We had 2 models that night, David Hawker, Sarah Mish. They were fantastic. I didn't get to draw much because I was like managing the event, but here's just a few sketches I put in. And then this was a subway sketch that turned into like an imaginative sketch. This is another sketch, just a painting sketch. This was, I think, Feb 1. And because I've been playing Monster Hunter, I've been playing with this new brush pen. I think I can show you guys that one. I'll show you in a bit. And then some building stuff. This was yesterday or the other day. And then this is from earlier today. So, yeah. Oh, and I have more. This is from the train on the way home. So I guess we'll start drawing here, just so we like fill stuff up. Let's get started. And I do wanna go a little nuts, just so we can just see how this looks. Let me know if you like the view, if everything's clear. I'm using an iPhone camera for this particular stream, and the phone is getting a little hot, but seems to be holding out so far. So yeah, Lunar New Year is an interesting thing for me. I am I'm Catholic and I grew up in the Philippines, and traditionally wouldn't celebrate Lunar New Year. However, growing up, I went to a Chinese school, like a Jesuit Chinese school, and so part of the yearly stuff was to celebrate Lunar New Year, and we'd get, we'd play dice, and we'd do some celebrations and stuff, and it was fun. But it wasn't something I ever formally celebrated, just something my school celebrated. Ooh, this is a bit loud. Let me lower the volume on that. It is. I want to be holding a mask of some sort. It's a little bit of a complicated hand position, so I guess that looks okay. And this is like slightly inspired by Alex Maleev stuff because he, he's top of mind just because we met him, just because I met him personally recently. And the funny thing, I mean, he's such a wonderful person, very straightforward, very generous with advice. I'm thinking of his Daredevil right now, which is why this is sort of like turning into a Matt Murdock-ish thing, but we'll see what happens in painting. But yeah, he had a lot of good advice, some of which really stuck with me. The thing I remember most that I thought was really cool was he showed a bunch of artworks, cool artworks that he was working on, but he also showed like pictures on his phone that he took of himself as reference. And it reminds me of like creators like Paulo Rivera, even Jorge Jimenez, who you'd think, given his more stylized artwork, would be all from imagination, but he has a bunch of like reference photos that he took of himself in order to get the pose the way he needed to. I think it's really helpful, when you're trying to get a pose down really fast, or you want an effect that feels a lot like realism. I think taking reference photos really helps. I think that's cool. Let's see. I'm gonna do this. Maybe I can get it. I'm deciding whether to like jump in with watercolors or to ink this traditionally, but let's see. I have my favorite Copic Gasan Fude brush pen, which makes some really good marks. You can see there. Really beautiful stuff. I have like a ton of microns and some of these Deleter Neo Pico brushes, which I got in Japan. These are great. And one of my favorite new things, let me see if I can find it. I have too much stuff. I gotta cull this stuff. I'll just toss that there. Ah, here. This. I love this thing. I don't know what it's called, but I got it in Japan. Hey Bjorn! Welcome, welcome. And it's got like a weird, like a nylon tip. Can you see that? Does it look good? And I was using it for this thing, for this sketch up here, because, you know, it gave me such good marks. It gives you some nice, very scratchy light marks up there. I don't know if you can see that well. But also, you can bear down and get like really thick, chunky, juicy lines. And I really love that. Anyway. Yeah, maybe let's ink this. Let's ink this. My worry is that I'm not sure how this goes with water. It's actually, let's try it right now. I don't know if water activates this. It does. See that? It just like, it futzes with it a little bit. So maybe we won't use this one. Maybe we'll use the Gas and Food Day, which historically has fared better with watercolor, but I don't know. Because I plan to like use some of this watercolor. This is my Schminky set. This is my favorite watercolor set. Although there's like a bunch that are competing with it. It's very well used. It's got this beautiful sort of student case that allows you to take it very portably around. And these are not Horadam, they are professional grade watercolor. So the pigment's very strong and it lasts forever. These were all squeezed out from the tube and just, you know, they live here in my my custom set, which I love. I got this in London back when before COVID, so before Brexit. And it was it's still going strong. It's still one of my favorite sets, my go-tos. All right. I think I want some micron stuff here before we go into like the big fat. This is great too, the Micron Pigma Micron PN, if you guys can find this. I really love, this has sort of a weird nylon tip. Let's get it to focus. And the nylon tip is split into like 4. And it gives you a really nice fine point. As you can see there. That chunks out in a very quirky way that I like. So it's really good. It's a really good all-around pen. I'm more of a pen person than a brush person. I know there are people who are like, I always think of the Brazilian comic book artists, Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. And they're both amazing, but like Fabio is clearly, they're twins, right? Fabio is clearly a brush guy, and Gabriel Ba is clearly a pen guy. And it's so interesting to see their styles sort of, you know, mix with each other. If you see their work on Casanova, where they trade out work in the story arcs, the tone really changes, and it's really lovely. I find Fabio's work to be much more sensual and dramatic, very emotional, and that's just partially because of his choice of using a brush as his main. And Gabriel Ba's stuff is just a lot more precise and formalist, and also tantalizing, because he uses pen, and he tends to use like a really solid, stable, unwavering line, you know. With the brush, you can get thick to thin really easily, and that just adds to it. But I think pen people like the stability of a less variable line weight. Alright. I don't think I can get the other ear in. I don't think it's anatomically. I mean, maybe like a little bit there. Probably shouldn't shade too much because this is planning to be a watercolor piece, so you want to leave space so that the paint can do its work. I'm happy. I'm happy the traditional, at least I think, unless this is like glitching out on YouTube, I'm happy the traditional material setup is working, because I really wanted to do some paints and stuff. You know, I know my channel's mostly known for Procreate / iPad stuff, but I'm pretty even with working traditionally versus digitally. I mean, my comic stuff tends to be digital just because it's just a lot more portable that way. But I love ink and I love playing with paint. I have a 4-year certificate in painting, and I'm quite versed in oils, watercolors, gouache. Watercolors are my favorite though. And I guess I've just never, I haven't really been able to show it on this channel, so it's just nice to have a little versatility. Alright, that's good enough. Let's start throwing some watercolor in. So these are aquashes, pentel aquashes. This is a good one. So this is a pentel aquash, just a standard medium-sized tip. It's got a nylon brush tip at the front and a barrel which carries water with it, which you can squeeze to sort of clean the brush. And I always have like a little piece of tissue paper here to help clean the brush. And I like having 1 or 2 tips. So this is another tip. I don't know what brand this is, but it's made in Japan. This is a lot of Kuretake. It's Kuretake. It's made in Japan, as are a lot of great art materials. So, all right, let's throw some skin tones down. I'm gonna start with just a little bit of whoops. Let's move this over so you can see the mixing. I'm gonna use the base skin tone here, and what I want to do is dirty it up a little bit. So I'm just bringing in random colors here and making it so that it's not so standard a look. Because the joy of watercolor is that you can easily get a lot of variation in the color. There. Some there. There we go. Hey Yanuk! Welcome Yanuk's Art. Thank you for joining the live stream. Yanuk says you should draw traditionally once in a while. Yeah, I actually I draw traditionally a lot, but people only see it on my IG stories, so, you know. I don't do it on this channel because I haven't had a traditional setup, but you know, thankfully that's kind of changed tonight. So here's a little bit of orange. I'm throwing some orange in. And the reason for that is I want to give a sense of blood coming out. So a little bit on his nose, a little bit on the cheek, and a little bit in the ears. And I'm gonna maybe modulate this light a little bit so it's not so harsh. Whoop. There we go. Well, I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but it should be easier to see once we get once the watercolor dries. So let's throw this here. I'm putting some blue in too, because blue is great. And that gives me a little bit of a sense of shadow and a little bit of sense of like skin color changing and stuff like that. I actually want to throw a bunch into the hair, so we'll just do that like that. Just a straight swoosh into the hair. This is more of like this is a brown, but it's turning into a bit of, because there's a little blue in the brush already. It's being neutralized by the blue. Kind of helps. I don't want this to be super duper vibrant, you know. Maybe save that for the costume. Now let's throw, because it's Lunar New Year, I'm gonna throw some red down. Boom. And I want a big wash, because that way you can get the color more even. That's the part of watercolor where you have to be brave, you know. As much as it's a little, it feels safer to dab at things when you're trying to fill a big space. You just get a better effect if you just sploosh colors in one straight go. And you know, all this stuff can be modulated. You can add a little more, you can layer other colors on top of it and it should look fine. There we go. Throwing a bit of, I guess it's like a purple blue. Alright. I'm feeling this. It's looking good, I think. I really want like a deep dark purple for some of this styling. And if you want some of that blotchy sort of blobby effect, you gotta strike while the water's still wet. Which I want. I want it to sort of bleed a little, you know. Alright, now I'm gonna go in and start throwing some shadows down. There we go. Some down here. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna throw, I mean, what's cool too is you can just draw with this, right? I'm using the brush right now to just straight out draw stuff. And do sort of a semi-abstracted background that implies city work. You know, some bricks maybe. Maybe a window. Boom. You can get some really nice effects from that. All right. I just love sketching. This is like, I swear, like whenever I'm having like a super stressful, you know, like I almost want to break down type day, the thing that is most likely to calm me down is being able to doodle in a sketchbook, you know. It makes me feel like, you know. And the great thing about this is, you know, because it's a sketch, because you're not trying to like make it for like Instagram or publication or any of that stuff. It's literally just you doing whatever you feel like doing. It just flows, you know. And it feels super rewarding when you get something down that you're proud of, you know. Okay, so that's fun. I don't think I've drawn Spider-Man in the sketchbook before. Have I drawn him yet? Yeah, so I don't think I have. So we should draw some Spider-Man, just for fun. I'm gonna flip this around. That should be fine. And I want to draw a little Spider-Man. That's another one. You know, if you have like if you're anything like me, you might have like a comfort character to draw. And Spider-Man is one of those characters that, for me, is just so fun to draw whenever. You know, let's do just a wacky pose like that. And I jumped the gun a bit and started a bit too detailed, when really you should be starting with like a line drawing, almost like a gesture drawing, you know, something like this, just very loose, especially when it's a posy thing like the Spider-Man, because you want to get the initial energy of those lines. So fun. Actually, I'm gonna move the other leg this way a little bit, foreshorten it so that it doesn't, you know, hit the edge of the paper. Just wanna compose it a little better. Whew. There we go. And turn that down. The real key is getting a lot of expression to the eyes. And with Spider-Man, you have many options, but I'm gonna go with the sort of Steve Ditko-esque smaller eyes for this one. Once ribcage does that. Okay, that's enough detail, I think. Alright, jump into my trusty Micron PN as usual. I'm gonna jump in with I don't know if you guys can tell, but like I'm actually quite a bit faster working traditionally than I am working digitally, which is real ironic, but you know, my lifestyle, because I have a full-time job and I'm always running around the city doing stuff. It ends up being like just more practical to have my pages with me digitally all the time. I can't remember if does Spider-Man have, well, it's my version, so I think it does that. I'm just gonna go with that. I wasn't sure if it cut in the middle or like went to the side, but it's a sketch, so we'll just go with that. I'm going purely from memory here. Doop, doop. Maybe we can zoom in a bit. Zoom in just a little bit. There we go. I know that helps. There we go. That's feeling good. Just a little bit of a bump for the ears. And I am thinking it would be cool if this were like a Spider-Sona type thing where we do a slightly different costume from the traditional. So maybe borrow a few tricks from Miles. Mix it up with casual wear or something. I'm not sure. The webs are like some of the wackiest things. I feel like a lot of the artists' personalities, I mean my favorite Spider-Man people through the years, comes out in how they draw the webs. Because there's like so many ways you can do it. Right? For me, I kind of like the, I mean, and he's never drawn Spider-Man, I think, the Alex Nino sort of way of drawing the webs, which borrows a lot from the McFarlane, I guess, style, where it's like, it's messy. It's got like a lot of random parts. but I think it looks cool. And it adds in some of that creep factor that, you know, you don't get with Spider-Man anymore, because he traditionalized a bit over the years. Oops, let's see if I can move this so that it's stable. There we go. Okay. And then here, I think I want to do like a jacket type thing. There we go. There we go. That's feeling good. We have the hood from his hoodie that sort of just hangs there. And then some cloth stuff. Boom! There we go. Maybe we have like a tassel or something hanging from there. There we go. Yanuk says, thank you so much. Your advice helped me a lot. You're welcome, Yanuk. I'm glad to be of service. In my own small way. Let's put a little spider there. Has anyone read the new Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cecchetto? That stuff's so good. I religiously read Spider-Man through the good and the bad, but that was probably the first issue was one of the best beginnings to a spider story I've read in a while. You know, and I really like the Dan Slott run. You know, which ended with like the Red Goblin stuff, but had him like Superior Spider-Man and all of that stuff. All cool stuff and fun, really fun, crazy comics. But I haven't read any of his new stuff. Like, I'd heard there was this thing about like an introduction of a Spider-Boy But I'm so behind on that. I'm much more like keyed into the X-Men right now, you know, and the spider stuff is just building up. I am keeping up with the gang war stuff though. It's kind of cool. Always fun to see all the street level heroes get together. And a surprising tie-in to Laura Kinney's Wolverine series. I probably shouldn't say it. Spoilers for those of you who haven't read Gang War. I know shoelaces aren't like super practical for superheroes, but it's just so cool with Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Because of the webs. I think it's so perfect. I'm gonna put that type of stuff there. Boom. All right. Let's see if the stream is doing okay. Okay, looks like it's working out. The phone's not dying. The camera's bearing out. I can do this again, hopefully. Whoop whoop. I'm gonna do that. Alright. I'll put a little bit of shadow here. Let's put some webs. But as usual, you want to leave some stuff for the paint, so not too much. Just enough to kind of ghost in the form. Boom, boom, boom. All right. There's this other thing. I wonder if I brought it. Oops. Nope, I guess I didn't. All right, we'll just go into colors. Let's go into colors. I'm committing the cardinal sin of watercolor, which is you start with the darks first. You really shouldn't. With watercolor, unlike oil paint, you know, you want to work from light to dark. So you always start with the light stuff first and then move down, because the light is your paper, you know what I mean? The whitest white is your paper, and you don't want to mess that up. If you can help it. Okay, let's get into this red. Move my palette closer so you guys can see. Move this here. A bit bright. We'll use something like this. There we go. A little calmer. All right. Then we're gonna go with, I think I'm gonna use this alizarin crimson, which is a little bit more of a transparent red. I'm gonna use that for this jacket, just so we get like a little bit of a separation between that and the main costume. Ooh, that's feeling good. I love watercolors, I swear. The other day I tried to do watercolors on the train. It went pretty poorly. This is this. Right? This is me trying to do watercolors on the train. Very, very difficult. I think I set myself up for failure. But, you know, I also think people look at you like you're crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it's actually weirdly more normal to break out an iPad and start drawing on the iPad on the train. But once you have like a bunch of brushes and a napkin and like all this watercolor stuff, it gets like, people look at you like you're crazy. It just gets a little unwieldy, you know. Alright, and I'm gonna use this more, I guess, saturated, more of a cobalt blue on the outside. That will give me a nice differentiated color. I think it's this one. It's this one. There we go. I think I'll flip this around. Oops. There we go. Woo, free. Free and wide. And this is looking good now that the water's dried. You know, thank goodness. Yeah, pretty well. This Spider-Man is giving me a little bit of a Hobie, like Spider-Punk vibe. He's just missing the mohawk, you know. But he could totally... He's like halfway there already. I do like Spider-Punk. I actually have never drawn him. I should probably do that at some point. We'll do this like sketch thing again. Oops, maybe not that. We'll do a traditional sketch again another time, but I think this is a lot of fun. And we're gonna do some reds now. I think I'm gonna throw some of this in. I think I need to deepen this red here. I might toss in some of this magenta actually, just to make it a little more mixed up. I'll mix in some of this dark blue. There we go. There we go. And that gives me just a little bit of extra value shift to like give me some details in there. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Some here. And then definitely some up here. Boom. And then we move this. All right. I'm doing a little trick here where you swoosh some water in, and it's a bit of like an eraser brush effect where you take back some of the pigment off and lighten it up. And you put some back down. You kind of redistribute it to go where you need. And then it doesn't quite feel right without some buildings, so we'll put some buildings down. We'll do that, and I'm gonna move this here like this. Just so we get like a little bit of like, I know this is like a made up, imprecise perspective, but as long as it looks good optically, you know, I'm okay with it, because this is just sort of a sketch, you know. It just has to have the vibe. Maybe draw some fire escapes. And of course, it's not New York without like a random water tower. So put a water tower there. Ooh. And now bring back the brush. Bring back this brush. Yeah, I feel like this building is completely off perspective. We'll fix it. This building is supposed to be kind of like that. There we go. Better. All right. Boop, boop. There we go. There we go. Hey Pokanoa, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for the kind words. It's just fun. We're having a chill Lunar New Year sketch session. You know, nothing like greeting the new year with a few new little drawings in your sketchbook, right? There's our spider thing. Let's put that there. Maybe like a TV antenna there. There we go. Something like that. Maybe even like a pigeon. There. Boom. Oh, thank you, Pokanoa. Yeah, I love drawing Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like... And I hadn't drawn Spider-Man in the sketchbook yet, so... It's good to like... I always try to get one Spider person in. And one X-Men character in. Alright, I think that's looking good. We're gonna throw just a little bit more paint down. And... hopefully that'll get it a bit of a finish. I try to keep these live streams to about an hour. Sometimes I'm very bad and it goes over, but you know. I'm gonna try to keep this. Try to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. So we'll get some tone in the background. And this is not the best brush for it, honestly. Like, at this point, it's good to like have a bigger brush, but you know, it's what I have. I'll do that. Pokanoa says, kids at my school say I cannot draw. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Pokanoa. You know what? You know, never mind what other people say. What really matters is how much you enjoy it and how happy you are with drawing, you know? People can sometimes say mean things and harsh things, but it's more to do with them than it has to do with you. So try not to take it too personally. And if you like drawing, just keep drawing. You know what I mean? This is for you. The sketchbook, the joy of making art, that is first and foremost for you. It's not for anyone else. And I know, like, sometimes it doesn't seem that way because, like, you see all these artists online, they're posting stuff for other people, they're getting, like, praise, adulation, they're getting money, and all this other stuff for their art, and it feels like, you know, for some of them, they might even feel overwhelmed because it feels like their art is not for them anymore. It's like it's more for other people. But you always have to remember that, number one, at the end of the day, your art is for you, and if it makes you happy, you know, no one can take that away from you. No one's words, no one's, like, you know, mean things. You know, it's yours, and nothing they can say can take it away. So just enjoy it, revel in it, and one day they might even be surprised. They'll be like, whoa, you know, I never realized how good you were at art or how much passion you're putting into it, you know. And at that point, you know, it'll be like a nice little cherry on top, but it won't be what you do your art for. You won't be doing your art for that person. You'll be doing it for yourself. And that's, like, I think the healthiest relationship you can have with your own art. But yeah, I'm sorry if people are saying mean things. That's not cool. Alright, I think this is more or less done. There's our spider person. I'm tempted to, like, zhuzh this up a bit more. Like, add a little yellow there. You know, just some of that crazy New York light. Maybe even, like, I have a highlighter here. Shoot. It's like a little bit of highlighting. Just to make it slightly more fluorescent, right? That'll be kind of cool. Shoot, shoot, shoot. And then we're gonna calm. Well, we don't need to calm it down, but we're gonna calm it down just a bit, just a smidge with some random darkish color. So I'm just gonna, like, mix in this this weird sort of peachish, brownish, bluish color here. And that's what I'm gonna swoosh on the buildings, you know. Something neutral to make the vibrant stuff feel more vibrant, if that makes sense. Oops. Alright. Well. Oop, oop, oop. Put too much on my brush. There we go. Much better. Whew. Poconoa says, I love to draw anime. I'm from Trinidad. It is a Caribbean country. I know Trinidad. I made a comic book named Mr. Spy Eyes. That's cool. I'd love to see it, Noah. If you post it online, tag me. Alright. And I think... now I want to, like, touch this up a little bit. Let's throw some wacky blues in there. Toot, toot, toot. All right. I think that's pretty good. That's a good time. I think this is a good place to end the stream. I mean, once again, happy Lunar New Year, guys. If you had some resolutions at the start of 2024 that you've kind of dipped on, here's a second chance to, you know, get back on it. And as I want to say, I hope you get rich, and I hope you you have a prosperous wood dragon year, right? Always be art making. I will call it a stream. Oh my God, Pokenoa says he's 10 years old. Hello. I didn't realize you were 10. Oh my gosh, I thought I was talking to someone older. Thank you for coming on the stream. I look forward to seeing your drawings, Noah. Please keep enjoying them, and remember, it's for you. It's not for anyone else. So as long as you enjoy it, no one can take it away from you. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it for the evening. Have a lovely, lovely Lunar New Year, and the rest of your weekend. Please enjoy it. Yeah, signing out.